I'm not ever going to push. If you want to do it on camera when you're feeling all zhuzhed up and feeling sexified, you can, and we can book it for a different time. But if you're happy to just wing it now, I can ask you just 4 questions.
Yeah, just
And
ask me questions.
sure, and then if you feel like we want to go into it more another time, we can.
Once I'm like a public figure, well,
We can do a very, very successful interview.
yeah, perfect.
Okay, so the first question is, let me just get it up. I'm very grateful, so grateful
Oh,
that
I
you're
would.
open to chatting about it. Where is it? Hang on a second. First question. What did you value the most from your sessions with me? Or what have you valued the most with your sessions, from your sessions with me?
Is actually finding a way to be able to release, process, all this negative emotion that I carried around inside for so long, that I've tried so many different ways to try and address, different modalities, different therapists, different ways, and this has been the only way so far that I've found that has been effective in getting right to the bottom of things and being able to release that energy. And then I come out of my session feeling like a weight has been lifted off my shoulders. I remember before I had started my sessions, I had a lot of anger bubbling just underneath the surface that I just kept pushed down a lot and would berate myself for feeling angry and feeling like I was going to explode. And I remember just even the first session, I was able to release so much of that, that it just was such a relief.
Thank you. That's really clear. Really clear. I've got my babe coming in to interrupt the session. Hello, my love. All right, next question.
Yeah.
Licking. I've got a cut on my thumb and she keeps wanting to lick it. It's really annoying. Bitch, please. Waiting. I might have to put her out. Wait a sec. Hey, she's just turned 1 last week, so she's turning into like a real adolescent right now.
Oh, really?
If it's okay, I'm gonna put her out. Hang on. I love you. I love you. Say hello to Beck. Say hello to
She's
Beck.
like, Mommy, look at me.
Come on. Give me 2 secs. Come on. I can put you in my knees. Come here. First of all, thank you. And second of all, sorry, it interrupted our like heart flow.
Oh, no, that's all right.
I'm back. She's 30 kilos. She's very heavy.
Big girl.
My heart is pumping after just shoving her out. Oh, okay. So, if value means something different to enjoy, what have you enjoyed the most about working with me?
Just feeling better in my everyday life.
How could you describe feeling better in everyday life? What does that look like?
My life flows easier now. I don't feel like I'm carrying around so much trauma and pain.
Mm. Yeah. Were you able to identify that you knew you were carrying around emotional pain before we were doing sessions? Or is that something you learnt with me?
I didn't realize how much was still there.
Yeah. I remember you saying, I've done this already.
Yeah, yeah,
I don't want
exactly.
to do it again. I've been there.
I'm like, I've done the work. And I've gotten to the place where like the big things for me in my life have been ticked. I've got a partner, I've got a house, I had a, really good job, I've got the
Yeah.
baby, I've got the horse, like all the things in my life I'd achieved them. So I was kind of like, yeah, I've done the work, I've got there. I'm I'm yeah, I've achieved these. I wasn't in crisis mode anymore. I wasn't at rock
Mm.
bottom. I wasn't, yeah. But I didn't realize how much pain and trauma I was still living with until that everything started coming up. And
Mm.
I, when I, especially this, where I'm at now with this new company, if you could have told Beck of a year ago that I would be here in this place in 1 year's time, there's no way I would have even believed you. So it just feels like not only do I feel a lot better, my life, I'm being able to achieve things that I just never even thought I would, because I'm
Mm.
able to move the blocks out of my way.
Yeah.
The belief of, I probably would never have even gone there of like, oh, I'm it just even the abundance blocks that I had. Um, yeah, because I think in the past, the work that I'd done was done out of being in crisis or being in, yeah, or hitting rock bottom and going, oh my gosh, like I need this for survival kind of thing. Whereas
Mm.
I was in a pretty good place when I started this work, but it's just made everything so much better.
Yeah. I'm so glad we're having this conversation because it creates so much light on women who are ready to do the work when they get to this point. Because when we're in like that rock bottom place, we don't want to learn anything new. We just need some fucking relief.
Yeah,
We need the medication. We need the therapies. We need the massage. We need the treatments. We need all the things to help soothe the crisis experience before we can even start learning again, which is so clear. You were okay. You were like juggling and managing stuff, but you were okay when we first met. You,
yeah.
if anything, that,
On the outside, you look at my life, I had it all going on.
yeah. What do you think the dominant feeling was when we first met? Because it was to work with the kids first, right? So what was the emotion that drove you to reach out to me for the kids? Because with what we've learned now, it's the emotion inside the self that we do the work on. What was your emotion that drove you to contact me?
Um, well, Ethan was having a lot of anxiety, and I felt like I needed to help him, but at the same time, wanted to, I also didn't feel like it was my responsibility to help him, and it was
Yeah.
impacting my life a lot. It was really disturbing my life, and I
Mm,
suppose I was only just holding on to my life,
yeah.
at the time. I remember going, oh, for God's sake, like this is too much having to deal with this kid. I'm I'm like I've got a new baby.
Mm,
I'm going back to work. I'm super busy. I
yeah.
Yeah, like can you? I remember just going, I'm just going to call this woman and outsource it to her.
Mm,
his parents weren't doing anything about it, it didn't seem. So I was just like, someone needs to do something about this. And yeah, I was like, yeah, I just need you to fix him. You know, he needs
To make me
help.
feel better.
Yeah,
What was the trigger for you when you saw him struggling with anxiety? Was it frustration, fear, sadness that drove you to call me?
frustration.
I don't like it like this. It needs to change.
Yeah.
Yeah, really clear. Super clear. Amazing. And the path of least resistance was what you chose. You would maybe not have even considered calling me for yourself at the time.
No, I
It was
didn't think
more
I
so,
needed to at the time. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. How do you, we've kind of touched on it a little bit in our discussion just now, but the next question is, how did you feel before you had some coaching with me, and how did you feel after?
Yeah, like I said before, I just felt like this weight that I'd been carrying around for so long was lifted, and I felt just so much lighter. And then the thing that really cemented me for going, wow, this really, really works, is that it was the day before my mum was coming to stay with me. And she'd stayed with me you know, she'd been there. The last time she'd stayed with me, it got to the point where I almost couldn't bear to be in the same room as her. Um, she just made me so angry. She just frustrated me so much. Um,
Mm,
and then she got stuck at my place because of COVID lockdowns. She stayed with us for 2 months, and I didn't have one harsh word with her, one, negative experience. And it was,
yeah.
so I was like, wow. I think if I hadn't have had that session, I probably would have ripped her head off.
So she was living with you for those 2 months when we did the first session.
She was coming the next day.
That's right. So thank you. So she was coming the next day. Just so happened that you booked in the session because it was for Ethan, but more so I said you got to do one if he's doing one. So you did the session, and your mum arrived. And in the
I
past,
still remember what you said to me. I was like, look, I was like, as usual, I was multitasking. I think I was like parked in the
sorted.
supermarket,
Yeah.
like car park. I was like, you were talking to me, and I was like, look, you said was good with the parent to do it as well. And I said, I'm not actually one of his parents, but one of like I'm his stepmom, but his parents won't do it. And I remember being really, I felt like I was being almost a little bit rude. I said,
Yeah.
I don't mean to be, I don't mean to be rude or blunt, but I just need you to, I have so much on my plate. I just want to outsource this to you. I need you to take care of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you said, well, I don't mean to be rude back, but you actually sound like you could really use a breathwork session yourself. And I was like, oh, all right. Okay, fuck it. I'll try it. Because when you said
Ah,
that I could use it for myself, it was like more like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, maybe this could help me. Because I was all just about like, okay, how do we help Ethan? Like how do we make this work? Because I was like, I felt like by you telling me I needed to do sessions with him, you were creating more work for me. And I'm
yeah,
going,
like with him rather than separate.
this kid is already just sucking up so much time and energy of mine, and I've got no more to give. And
Mm.
now you're saying I have to do the sessions with him? Like, lady, do you do it? This is what I'm calling you for. You do it.
So you assumed at the start it was that you had to do it with him, but when I offered it to you as for you for yourself, that
Yeah,
changed.
yeah, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Imagine if I had have worded it slightly different. We may not have ever done any work together. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's such a fine, subtle moment, but with such a big impact. You could use it for yourself. And then
Yeah.
just breathing into your body, I'm like, actually, yes, I need some love. I need some
Yes,
attention.
yeah. I was like, yeah,
Yes.
you're right. I need help.
Yeah. What about me? Yeah. Yeah, it's so true. Yes. So then, yeah, that's really clear. Your answer is great. How do you feel before? What modalities? I remember you saying to me you'd met like Deepak Chopra, Louise Hay before she passed away. How many people have you met along your like personal development and healing journey?
I've met Esther.
You're kidding.
No.
She's like my soul sister.
Bernstein. Um, yeah, I've tried lots and lots and lots of different, from traditional stuff,
Yeah.
from psychologists and psychiatrists
Yeah.
to kinesiologists to um oh, there was another really good one that I had in LA who was a um acupuncturist, but then we would do like kind of like a little bit of breath work whilst I had the needles in my
Yeah.
in the points to let energy out. And that
Cool.
was really effective. That was really good.
Yeah.
Um, and then I've done like tapping. What?
EFT tapping.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep, yep. Um, energy healer, Reiki, um, psychics.
I love
Um,
it. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
How would you compare what we're doing now compared to all of those modalities that you've tried?
Well, one thing that I know for sure is that you can't hand it over for someone to do the work for you. So with kinesiology, etc., where it was like, oh, they do, they're meant to be kind of doing it, I suppose. I don't think
Mm,
you can kind of outsource this stuff. Like, this is what I think the magic of breath work is, where you hold the space for me to go deeper and get in there myself.
mm,
And I don't think someone can do that for you, like that whole energy healing kind of
yeah.
thing, you know. It,
Yeah.
like you say, that the healing is in the feeling. And it's funny because when you said before about what do I enjoy about these sessions, there's a lot of stuff that I don't enjoy about the sessions. It's like it's tricky to find the time in your schedule. And whenever I go into the session, I'm fighting it. Like, so I go through like, the first bit of it, like, fuck, I don't have time for this. I'm so busy. Oh, this is stupid. This is a waste of money. Da 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 da. Like you go through all of that. And then you got to go into the trauma, which is like, oh my God, so painful. Sometimes so painful you think you're gonna die.
Yeah.
And then you come out the other side and you're like, oh my God, that's the best thing that has ever happened to me. This is the best. And that's what just, yeah, I've been so committed to it, but it's not for the faint-hearted. Like, you have to be brave. Like, you have to be brave to look at this stuff. And most people don't want to open Pandora's box, and they
Mm,
are just happy just to just go through life not addressing this stuff. But at what cost then? Just
mm,
constant. And now I see how the older you get, the worse it gets, and you start having to medicate yourself in different ways to numb the pain, or to distract
mm,
yourself, or to do all of that sort of stuff. Or it starts manifesting in diseases or illnesses or anything. So it's kind of like this intense short-term discomfort for such amazing results.
mm,
But you've got to be really brave to actually commit to it, to be willing to look at your deepest, darkest fears, your most intense traumas, to really feel all that stuff again is difficult, and it's painful, and it's hard, but not as hard as just going through life angry, miserable, sad,
mm,
victim mode, all of those things.
mm. I'm speechless at how beautifully you just explained that.
Oh,
And
really?
I'm so glad this is recording because I cannot type fast enough to keep up with what you said. It was just
Oh,
so beautiful.
oh,
Brave. I haven't thought about using the word brave when I speak to women about it, because for me on the other end, I'm like, yes, breathe, go to the trauma because it's so good for you. But I do sometimes have to call myself back and go, yes, this is uncomfortable. Yes, this is scary, especially for people who haven't really done it before, or for people who haven't even entertained the idea of what breath work is. So when you said there are things that you don't like, but you still show up, you're showing up because of the results you're getting from it, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Even so, when you go into the session, are you thinking this is a waste of time, waste of money, I've got too much to do, I need to cancel, but then you still show up? What is it, that bit that stops you from canceling or not committing to it?
Because I've never had a session where I haven't come out the other side going, like, I've never had a session where I've finished it and gone, well, that was a waste of time, or that wasn't very good, or did it? Every session has been, wow, wow. And Mary and I were talking about that the other day, because it's like it's a big financial cost.
Mm,
And
mm,
your ego's there going, this is too expensive, this is not good enough. And then at the end of it, that session, I go, oh, I don't care if that was $1,000 a session.
yeah.
Like, yeah, there's not been once that I've ever doubted the value of the session. Just
Mm,
come out of it going, wow,
mm,
wow. And you just can't put a price on just having that pain taken away, being able to process that pain.
mm.
That's
Yeah, it's
what
hard.
it's all about, right? Like we all want to feel good.
I want to feel good and have that pain taken away.
Yeah.
Do you feel, in comparison to reaching for medication, because I do it too in the past, especially when I've got crippling pain, migraines, period pain, whatever's going on, it's very easy to go, just pop a pill and forget about it and just like numb out on the way through it. How would you describe the relief that you can get from breath work compared to medication?
Interesting correlation is that since I've been doing breath work, I used to be a real binge drinker, and
Mm,
um before I was pregnant, and like it was a problem.
mm,
And yeah, it's funny, since I've been doing breath work, I I haven't been drunk. And even I went out for dinner with my girlfriend the other night, and we went to this French restaurant, and I was like, oh, I love champagne. I really wanted a glass of champagne. And I couldn't finish a glass in a 3 hour,
wow.
like a 3 hour sitting.
Mm,
And normally I would have a glass and I'd go, oh, I like that buzz. Oh, give me another one. And then,
yeah,
by the second one, I love that feeling, because then it's sort of like I'm just having, it gives you a bit of an escape from yourself.
yeah, yeah,
And it's almost
yeah.
like I don't need that escape from myself anymore. And now I'm a little bit worried, because I actually just don't think, like I've become so sensitive to alcohol, in that, like, I notice if I have a glass of wine, I don't sleep as well and I feel really crappy the next day. That I was kind of like, I don't think I'm a drinker anymore. And it's so ingrained in our society.
Mm.
Like, you know, yeah, like I was like, oh my God, I've always thought people that don't drink, I'm like, don't trust them, they're weirdos.
We can process that piece as well. That's fine. Yeah. Yeah. Your sensitivity has been dialed up since doing breath work. So now you're tuning into all of those key awarenesses with food, with drink, with medication. That example is amazing. And you haven't told me this before too. So I'm so pumped to hear that from you. You haven't
Oh,
been drunk since doing breath work.
no, no, no. And I used to write myself off all the time, because you just need a bit of a break from yourself, your life, like it was my escape
Yeah. Up until breath work.
up until breath work. Yeah. Yeah.
I should have that as a t-shirt, shouldn't I? Up until breath work.
Yeah.
Everything's a t-shirt. I love it. Okay, I promise you'll get to breathe. I've got one more question, I think. Well, this is an obvious question, but I still want to hear you say it with your words.
Yeah.
Would you recommend me to your friends, and why?
I recommend you to all of my friends because I want them to, I want their lives to thrive in the same way that my life is thriving. And sometimes I feel frustrated because I feel like some of my friends might look at me and think that I've got it really easy now because I do have it really easy. My life has become really easy. Like I don't have to work if I don't want to. I live on a beautiful property and I have a loving, you know, amazing partner and a beautiful daughter. Like my life is so, it's so easy. And I feel like people go, oh, well, she's really lucky. And I'm like, I'm not fucking lucky. Do you know how much work that I've done? I've done the fucking work. That's what I've done. Like 7 years ago, I was living by myself in an apartment in Sydney, pretty close to being suicidal, and
Mm,
I climbed my way out of that hole, and created this life for myself that I manifested all of this. This didn't happen by accident. Like this didn't I have been so committed to my self-work that I created this. So it's frustrating. People are like, "Oh, look how lucky she is. She just gets all this stuff." Because I'm like, mate, I was in the trenches.
yeah,
Yeah,
I was
I've
in the
spent
trenches.
such a long time just being in so much pain, so much pain.
How do you feel after just saying that? Just time capsuling yourself 7 years through what you have journeyed. That's incredible.
I feel really sad sometimes because I wish that I, for a lot of the time that I was living in the States, especially in New York, I was so sad and alone and scared and just in so much pain. And
Physical and emotional?
well, the emotional pain, I think, no, not so much physical, but like emotional pain,
Emotional pain. Yeah.
just didn't want to get out of bed and,
Yeah.
yeah. And, and I just, the way I devalued myself to people, we've been
Yeah.
working a lot on that about this, just being a people pleaser and wanting to get approval. How
Mm,
I did that so much. And I just think if I could go back and relive that experience now, being the person I am now, it could have been so fun, so
mm,
fun. Living it with confidence and valuing myself and just knowing what I with the awareness that I have now
mm.
and the belief I have in myself now and I'm just with every session that I do, I'm like, all these little things about just learning to stand up to myself or to, say no to things or all of that sort of stuff that I
Yeah.
just couldn't do.
It could have been so much more fun
I
if you've
just wonder what
actually.
the opportunities could have been too.
Yeah. 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 So true. So emotional pain can keep us stuck and it stops us from being able to actually live fully in those moments.
Totally, totally. Yeah. Yeah.
And I love how you said people might think that my life is actually just looks so like lucky and easy. And instead of being like, well, it wasn't easy because like there's an element of it wasn't easy, you still had to do the work, but your life is easy now. You have done the work and you're committing to the work. You've been continuously committing to the work. And therefore, life is easy. The hardest thing that you've gone through is committing to breath work, but really it's not because you've got your life to show up for and to see how it's coming out for you. It's like it's easy.
Oh,
This is
and
the
the
easiest.
manifestation of it all too. Like the things that, yeah, just showing like it's like I'm actually just creating my dream life now.
So we first met when you wanted to outsource things because you were feeling frustrated that you didn't want one more thing to fix or take care of. and you've gone through layers and layers and layers of ease and pain and stress and anger and all the stuff. And then you've come out the other end and you're just loving your life. You're just creating your life.
Yes. And I just love too that when I hit a roadblock to things that that we can do a session and we can work out what the block is, because also with this, me creating this business, I think that this breath work is going to be such secret sauce to it, because I could be doing all the external work, like the doing work, but I think I need to be doing the emotional work too, because believing that I can be successful, believing that I am smart enough to do this, believing that, good things can happen to me, believing that I can have abundance
Mm,
is going to be is going to be essential to be able to bring this to life. And we've been
yeah.
working through all those because I didn't have any of those beliefs. So I probably would have just been, how could it be successful if I still had those beliefs?
Mm. What were
Yeah.
the limiting beliefs that you were carrying before we started doing this work that would
Remember,
have
like,
stopped
I
you?
just didn't even realize, like, the abundance thing. Like,
Mm,
say when my business gets really big and I have, like, have all this wealth, and I was really worried that um the whole tall poppy syndrome, because I see it
yeah,
happen all the time, you
yeah,
know,
yeah,
um, and that was going to make me different to my friends and to my family, and I felt really guilty about, them judging me about, oh well, she's got too much and we don't have enough, and I felt like that was really unfair, and I
yeah.
needed to keep myself small so that they didn't, you know, I didn't make them feel bad about their lives or their choices.
Mm, yeah. That's a big one, isn't it?
Yeah, it was a really big one. Yeah.
That's healing the ancestral trauma, like the patterns of our parents that we didn't even know we were taking on until we go into life experience and then go, hang on, do I believe this? Is this mine or is this theirs? I can work with this. I don't have to carry on the
Yeah.
same pattern.
Yeah. And I think this, like, watching this happen is really triggering for other people too, because, when you see someone doing stuff that you want to be doing and it brings up jealousy in you, you you try and take them down. And I know that's going to happen to me.
Mm. And you can witness it from compassion because flip side, before you were in this place of abundance and creating the life that you wanted, I remember you talking about a process where you remember judging other rich and wealthy successful women and having that she's got it so lucky energy. And so that's the pattern that was stopping you from actually letting yourself go into that because you would have judged yourself just as hard. Do you remember that?
Yeah, and I don't want the people pleaser in me, is I don't want people talking about me and not liking me, or
Mm,
all those sorts of things. There's this podcast that I listen to, um and she said some interesting stuff. She had a really successful swimwear brand, and but she's
mm,
now, it's called The Work, and she's like this fashion girl, but she does a lot of self work as well. And she was just saying, like, she was talking about influencers and why we talk, like, why does everyone hate on them, especially like the wags, like,
mm.
and I hate on them too. I'm like, oh, Nadia Bartel, and like, I'm like, oh, that, Rebecca, what's her name, or and
Um,
I'm going, oh, what
yeah.
makes you special? Just because you're a footballer's wife, now you think you can do this and that, and she was saying, why do people hate on them? Because they've used their platform to do really cool stuff, and that, well,
What they want.
why can't they do that? And I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, why can't they do that? But like, because I just took an instant dislike to all these women, and at the bottom of it is jealousy. Like, it's absolutely just jealousy. So
Mm,
we all do it. And so, yeah, you kind of, like, you can keep yourself small, and then give no one any reason to be jealous of you, and you're safe, right?
Ah, it's the mirror work. Spot on. Keep yourself
Mm.
small so no one's jealous of you because we know that we're judging others and that's why we're jealous of them. And it's like it's so tangled.
Yeah,
And you just flash it all out, breathe, get the work, do the work, feel the shifts, and then let people be jealous if they want, but you're good.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
good. Um, I think they're my main questions, but if
Okay.
there is something that you could say to someone who's maybe in crisis or coming out the other end and just looking for that personal development support, what would you say to them to encourage them or inspire them to just get started and have a go?
I'd say what I've been saying to all my friends that I see that are stuck and in pain, that this has been so effective for me. It's completely transformed my life, and just do it. Just just it will, it's full on and it's confronting, but it's so much better than having all these blocks in your life and being in pain all the time. It
Mm,
works. This stuff works. I've tried so many things, and breath work works. It's really
mm.
effective.
That's
It's
right.
really, really effective. And it has transformed my life.
The best. Thank you.
And
Thank you. Thank you. Thank
I would
you.
just love to see all the people I love. It's hard to see them in pain and stuck in it. And I'm like, I can tell you, I've found something that can get you out of it. Why would you not do it? Why would you not help yourself?
Yeah.
Why would you not? But and now yeah, I've come to realize that for a lot of people, it's much easier for them just to push it away, not look at it, than to actually be brave and take that step forward and look at it. And it just baffles me because I'm this, come on, let's just go, let's just sort it out, let's get it done, sort of person. So I find it really hard to understand that if someone was telling me, hey, I found this thing that can just transform your life and make things flow so much better and help you, just feel better and create, the life that you want, shift the blocks that are blocking you from what you really, your heart desires, I'd be all
Mm.
over it. So I just don't understand why everyone doesn't do it.
Yes. Yes. So true.
But I need to
So
be
true.
compassionate that, that it's really scary for a lot of people.
Mm. Yeah, especially if they haven't experienced anything like this before and they haven't experienced the relief that can come from it.
It
Yeah.
might be for me too that because I've suffered from pretty severe depression, that
Mm.
nothing is scarier than that big black hole. And so for me, that's enough of a motivator to get the work done. So sometimes I
Mm.
think for people, you have to be at a point of crisis to actually take action. Um,
Mm.
you have to be at rock bottom. But I suppose if you're not actually there and you're just kind of, you're just uncomfortable enough that you can just kind of get through life as it is,
Mm.
it might not be enough of a motivator to actually change things.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you have you dipped down far enough into depression since we've started working, or do you feel like you've kept yourself away from it?
Um,
Like you've had some
yeah,
turbulence in life experience, but
there's been two times that my depression has flared up
yeah.
since we've been working together. Um, but both of those times have been when I have been calling in really like I've been calling in some big shifts into my life, and I've kind of always been like this, like, just, yeah, calling in these massive shifts.
Mm.
Um, like it's almost, I kind of see it almost like as a video game, like I'm going up to the next level. And it's like I put out for these things. Like one of them was when I started saying, I'm ready to be successful doing what I love.
Yeah.
And it's like the universe went, really? Okay. And it just dumped all this shit on my doorstep and completely spun me out of control.
Yeah.
And it was the breath work that helped me work through it and get through it all. So
Yeah. So
yeah.
it wasn't as a deeper drop since doing breath work because you already had that support
Well, it gave
before,
me a
during, and
support
after.
system, yeah, because I think if I didn't have breath work, I would have been stuck in it. And that's what's terrifying is when you're stuck in that deep, dark hole and you don't know how to get out. And that's when, like I'd start searching for, like different therapists or different, modalities or whatever it might be. And then you kind of, nothing helps. So that's when you start turning to medication and all those sorts of things.
Mm.
Just because you want the pain to stop. And
Yeah.
that's where it's been so good with you because I've been able to step my sessions up and, we were doing like 1 to 2 sessions a week because,
Yeah.
I was, you know, not feeling good at all.
Yeah.
And we moved through it but like, look what's happening on the other side, you know?
That's
Yeah.
incredible. I'm proud of you. I've said it a gazillion times, but I really am so proud of you.
Oh,
So
thanks.
pumped. And I like the fact that you've been willing to go through and commit to the process as you have, even though the stories that you've spoken about could have easily stopped you from doing it. You move through those negative thoughts or those judgmental thoughts or those irritating thoughts and just went for it. So you are the only one who you can pat yourself on the back because you did this. I didn't make you breathe. And that's why it's empowering, right? To really validate that you chose to do this work. You chose to
And you
show
know
up.
what else too though, Jacq, is like you you hold that space. Like I can breathe on my own, that's fine. Like, and I've always used this sort of similar technique, right? Like we called it
Mm,
going into the feeling, but
yeah.
having you there holding the space and guiding me into it, that's where the magic happens. And we're able to go so much deeper into so many more layers that I never even knew existed than I
Mm,
can on my own. Um, and that's what makes it so effective. And then also the way you are so committed to the process and like, I feel like you have actually seen me at my most vulnerable, my
mm,
most, you've seen me, yeah, I'm like, yeah, my like naked, like,
mm,
and there's, yeah, I don't think I've ever felt as comfortable to do that with anyone, really. Like you've probably seen me, the realest of me, of anyone in my life.
mm.
So there's, yeah, just the energy that you have that enables people to do that. Like I don't think I've ever thought, oh God, what's she going to think of me? Except for that day where I was screaming cunt out for a while. I thought, oh,
I was fangirling you. I was like cheerleadering you on the sidelines,
I
like, go
know.
girl, go
Miriam
girl.
was laughing about that too because we
We
were like,
have to laugh.
oh my
We have
God,
to.
what does Jacq think when we go full beast mode?
Oh,
It's like she loves it. The more I cry and scream, the happier she gets.
it's so true because once you go through the big feelings, you pop out the other end, right? I love
Yes.
initiate beast mode.
Yeah.
The minute I see someone start to shift into big energy, they're either going to shut off and stop breathing and let themselves avoid, or that little bit of curiosity of like, what does this feeling want to say? What is underneath this surface that's been so withheld? And then when you just like let it rip, that's where I smile. I'm like, yes, go, go. It's so good. So good. Thank you so much for everything that you have just shared there. I feel ridiculously grateful and
Oh, great.
so inspired to
You
share.
think you've got some good content there?
Oh, Nah, it's all bloody terrible. Not enough. Very juicy, vulnerable openness. So thank you. I think I'll get the audio and I can share it to the group as like just a straight run podcast link. But I'll share you this video with you because I want you to see what you look like. And if you're okay, just like stroking your cat and having a chat with me, then maybe we could post it as a video, but only if you feel inspired to.
Oh, do you know what? Well, who would see it?
Anyone that's looking to be inspired to get started.
Do you know what? If it's going to help people, I don't care. But just, I don't need to see it. Just do what you want with it.
Only if you feel inspired. If you have like buyer's remorse tonight, you're like, Jacq, don't post it anyway. Just let me know. Okay.
No, do you know what? Like, I think it's really important because we aren't honest with each other about like what's really going on, you know?
Mm,
And so I think it's really important to be, the more we can speak about it with each other about like, hey, I've been in really dark places, and hey, I've, been in a lot of pain, and no, not everything is always like, because for all those years where I was in so much pain, no one knew, because I was always like, hi, how are you? Yeah, I'm great, thanks.
mm,
No one ever knew. And I think that's the people that are struggling the most. Like, you never pick it because we're so good at putting these masks on. And then, so
mm,
other people that are in pain are going, well, what's wrong with me? Because everyone else looks so fine,
mm,
So I think it's important to have these like honest dialogues that, that this is part of the human condition, you
mm.
know,
Very true.
and it's
Couldn't.
normal. And you're not like, for so many years, I just thought that I was just so deeply flawed and there was something just so wrong with me, and why can't I cope with life? Everyone else is coping fine. Like, why do I struggle with depression and anxiety? I really thought that was this weakness in me,
What's wrong with me to be feeling like this?
Yeah, yeah,
Mm,
yeah,
that's the
yeah.
biggest shame piece, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Well,
absolutely.
thank you. I'll just upload it as it is, authentic, unedited. All of our fluffing over words and me typing and the dog and everything. We'll just let it be natural because this is how we show up for sessions, right?
Yeah,
This
totally.
is this is the real work. This is not the bright shiny object. This is like get in, show up, no makeup, pajamas, on the bed, with the dog, with the cat, whatever it is. We are committing to the work no matter how we feel at the time. You show up and you do it.
Yeah, exactly, exactly,
And that's
exactly.
where the shifts
You might
happen.
just have to edit some of my swear words.
Oh, I I fuck bombed the whole way through with you. That's fine. I know my ideal client has a good F bomb every now and then, so it's fine.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
This is so good. Okay, well, I know we're like 10 to 5, and I'm happy to take you through a breathe. Do you want to do a pee break? Do you want to breathe? Do you want to do
Do you
another
know what?
booking? What do you
I'm
want to
gonna
do?
have to. I'm gonna have to go because I have my nanny leaves in 10 minutes, so
Okay, which
we'll have to do it another time.
do you want to do a 5-10 minute heart centering to just process all the yummy feelings, or do you want
Yeah,
to
let's
call
do
it?
it. Yeah, yeah, let's
Yeah?
do it.
Okay. All right. Pussycat's so big now.
I know, I know, I know. Oh gosh.
Okay, so just lay down, relax, eyes closed. And just give yourself permission to be here right now as you are. This is almost the dialogue you were going to have with yourself when you have your massage, right? All of the
Yeah,
reflection.
yeah,
So being in your heart center already from having this conversation is such a great way to drop in and just connect with your heart now. Tuning in to what physical sensations you can feel and just staying open. Connecting with your breath down into your belly, up into your heart, expanding and just letting go. That's it. Breathing in into the body, feeling fully, and letting go.